fan, don't be fooled by the fourth quarter. Dallas got smoked, right?
It feels good that we nailed that game, right? Ravens in a mauling.
Yeah, so C.D. Lamb and Dak are arguing on one sideline, and Micah Parsons is yelling at the defense, both sides in chaos. The Cowboys have become one big, authentic Kardashian event. There's drama, and there's glitz, and there's glamour, and there's money, and most of it's just a big illusion, and they both have the most gullible of people that worship them. The Cowboys and the Kardashians are great at taking your money, and Jerry Jones has mastered that follow the bouncing ball. But increasingly, of the last 5 really good teams they have played, Buffalo, Green Bay, and Detroit last year, Saints, Ravens this year, 4 or 5 of those are at home, and they've been bullied in all of those games at some point. 4 or 5, just bullied. Dallas, here's the problem. Their roster's not talented enough, and Jerry Jones calls himself the GM. He's 81. It's not a good enough roster. They're also a team that's soft. They're the worst run defense in the league. Derrick Henry and Lamar had their way yesterday. They're also a team that has no chin. If you hit them early, they fold like a cheap deck chair. Also, Dak, CD, and Micah eventually are all going to have top-of-the-market contracts, so you better start nailing those 4th, 5th, and 6th round picks. Baltimore didn't do anything creative. They just ran the ball like the Saints did, over and over and over, often not around, but right at Dallas. So they're getting really expensive. The roster isn't very good. And Dallas has trailed by 20 or more in 3 of their last 4 games. But hey, Dak leads the league in passing yards, which is just so perfectly fitting because Jerry Jones can mention that and justify paying him top of the league. Congratulations. But if you go back to this is about culture and soul. You know, everybody bangs on Daniel Jones, and I will say I had the Giants winning yesterday, and the offensive line, and now they've got a number 1 receiver. They've got a little bit of a life in New York. Not a great team. Cowboys play the Giants Thursday, but New York's got a little bit of protection, a little bit of a life, a little bit of a hope. But as you all bang on Daniel Jones, I went and looked up this morning since 2020, Dak and the Cowboys have only had 6 fourth-quarter comebacks. That's the same as Daniel Jones, meaning you got more talent, but you don't have any more heart. There's no soul. What are you? And unlike the Kardashians, actually some of the Kardashian products are actually pretty good. Skims, I'm told, is excellent. And whereas the Kardashian fans that worship them actually like their products and like them, Dallas fans were recently surveyed in the offseason by The Athletic, thousands of fans, and a majority said, we have no chance to win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years. What am I supposed to like about this team? You can run on them. They don't have much of a culture. It's situationally. They're not brilliantly coached. Dak throws for a lot of yards, but those fourth-quarter yards yesterday, that's stat padding. They weren't real. I checked it out during the game. At halftime, the Ravens were averaging over 8 yards a play. So at the end of the third quarter, I went to my phone. After the third quarter, the Ravens were averaging 9 yards a play. That's like an outmatched college team. After the game, Matt Mosley, by the way, asked, why couldn't you? They asked about Derrick Henry, who, by the way, against Dallas was good. And Jerry said, we couldn't afford him. And Matt Mosley said, why? Well, I don't know. You can't buy a mansion when you live in a different kind of house. And to that, I would say, your running backs are not a mansion. You got 1 elite wide receiver, an okay tight end. Where's all the money going? Where are all the great players? Buffalo, Green Bay, Saints, Ravens. They're just dominating you. They're pushing you all over the field, and here's Micah Parsons after.
I mean, the same thing. I think right now we got people just trying to be Superman. People just got to own their jobs, bro. We don't need everyone to be Superman. We don't need no Supermans at all. We just need 11 guys playing together.
All right, let's have a really...
Okay. So, listen. I'm already knowing that I interact with a lot of Cowboys fans on this channel. A lot. They got the biggest fan base. So, you're welcome here. But this is where it's kind of crazy. Because Cowboys fans will say, oh, this was a close game. Dak Prescott leading a comeback, 28-25. when everyone who actually watched the game, who's maybe not a Dallas fan, knows that the Ravens owned the Cowboys. And that Dak Prescott did not have a good game. But they will say, he's leading the league in stats. Look at his stats. He's amazing. And Tom Brady throughout the whole game is like, that's a C throw. That's a D throw. Right? In all the moments that you needed your quarterback to be a good quarterback, he did not. That's why you got to watch the game. That's why stats will always be misleading. Will always be misleading. I mean, you start the game with a penalty, and then multiple after that. I mean, the opening drive, you couldn't get the ball to your own 30-yard drive, to your own 30-yard line, right? And then immediately you can't contain Lamar Jackson, right? Like immediately. And it's just, then the Ravens just hit the ground running. They never stopped. And I tried to point out that the Cowboys were not that good to begin with. And I said, okay, you beat the Cleveland Browns. That's not that good of a team. And you guys said, yes, they are. They're the best. They're this great team, best defense, yada, yada, yada. Well, then who did the Cleveland Browns just lose to? That's right, the Giants. And the Giants, who I know the Cowboys think are a bad team. Okay? And then you faced a good team, the Saints, and you got steamrolled by the Saints. And then you all said, well, guess what? The Saints are going to steamroll the Eagles. And then the Eagles built a brick wall for the Saints and beat them. Right? All of these things matter. All of these things need to be put in context. The Ravens are a pretty good team. I don't think that they're a top elite team in the NFL right now. They're too Lamar-centric for me. But this was a game where if the Cowboys were truly a good or great team, it wouldn't have looked like this. And you can't blame just the defense or just the offense. Because a lot of times when they give up a lot of points, they say, well, what is Dak supposed to do about that? Again, there were plenty of moments. It was perfect that you had Tom Brady doing the commentating again. Because he was just like, Dak, you got to do better. You got to be a better quarterback. And I'm not even trying to just blame Dak, honestly. I'm really not. You know, you had the fumble in the red zone with CD, which was just also bad luck. That's one of those also fluky fumbles where it was just like bad timing, because if it's like a half a second later, he secures that, right? I don't think CD, because, you know, Tom Brady was saying, oh, CD was just being loose with the ball. It was such a tough thing, right? Like he was in the process of bringing the ball to his body and he just didn't get to do it in time. So I don't blame CD Lamb. I don't blame sloppy play. It was just one of those games where of course that happens, right? That's when things just pile on. And when you are kind of getting some momentum. But you know, Dak has a moment, right? He makes a great throw, right? A great throw where you're like, all right, that's why Dak got paid. And then he follows it up with a terrible throw. You know, like he's lucky that it wasn't intercepted. And then even when he had a big play, a big time throw in a different part of the game, it was still really inaccurate. It was just a better catch, which again, Brady called him out as well. Right? And like, those are the things that really catch up to you. And Zeke has some life to him as well. Ezekiel Elliott, which I said in the beginning, don't judge him just on what he did with the Patriots, because the Patriots had nothing going on. So he will be a better running back. But he's not your star running back. He's not the difference maker. You could have gotten Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley. Both those running backs were completely available. And now both those running backs are huge for their teams. Huge. You could have gotten Saquon or Derrick Henry and Ezekiel Elliott. And that would have been a great 1-2 punch. A great 1-2 punch. Because Ezekiel Elliott does have life to him. He really does. But Dak easily could have had over 3 interceptions. Easily. So, it's just a problem. And then Dak in these moments doesn't keep his composure. He doesn't. Again, even Tom Brady pointed it out. He tries to do too much. He tries to make these comebacks in a way that's just not consistent. It's a problem. It is. So, I'm just not sure where you go from this. Okay, they couldn't contain Lamar. They couldn't stop the run. You had both teams there on the opening drive. One team looked ready to play, while the other team just couldn't. The other team just got like 3 penalties in the first like minute and 30 seconds. So I'm confused why we should expect the Cowboys to be a great team this season. Like I kept saying all off season, they weren't good enough last year. They didn't get better in the off season, and yet you're expecting them to be better. It doesn't make sense. That's not how things work. It's not. Doesn't make any sense. The Cowboys had no chance at winning this game. They just didn't. I don't care what the score said. They had no chance. The Ravens were in control of that game start to finish. Start to finish. And I'm just... If you're a Cowboys fan, this is what I don't understand about Cowboys fans. How are you not angry about this? How are you not frustrated? When the Eagles lost against the Falcons, they were furious. They yelled at Saquon to catch the ball. They yelled at Sirianni to make better play calling. They yelled at Jalen Hurts to make better decisions, to not throw the interception. But with the Cowboys fans, all I hear are excuses. That's all I ever hear with Cowboys fans, is always excuses. Now, of course, some fans are in defense. Some fans defended Jalen. Some fans defended Saquon. Some fans defended Sirianni. But it is like universally for the Cowboys fans, just always trying to explain away the failures rather than saying the team needs to be better. They need to be better. Dak needs to be better. So, yeah. And yeah, when you do pay your quarterback that amount of money, the most money in the history of the world, he's got to be better. I mean, he just does. He's got to be a better quarterback. He's got to make more accurate throws. Like that shouldn't be that controversial. It really shouldn't. Someone told me in the comment section that Dak Prescott is Peyton-esque. I don't know how to explain that. They said if he wins a Super Bowl, he will be talked about in the same conversation as Troy Aikman and Aaron Rodgers. I don't know how to explain that. I really don't. Because it's like, what? Go watch how Aaron Rodgers plays football, how he throws the ball. It's not always about wins and losses, honestly. It's not always all about how many rings you get. But if you go watch tape of what Dak can do and what Aaron Rodgers can do, it's not even close. I don't care if Dak Prescott ends up winning 5 Super Bowls. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I can't understand it. My question to Cowboys fans are, and maybe a true Cowboys fan can answer this question. Since you're the most popular franchise in like all of sports, is it because there's so many fans, they just have so many more fans that don't really understand football, that those voices are just so much louder than, because all teams have it. All teams have fans that really know football, who are really diehard, who know nothing, who are diehard, but they know nothing, so diehard, but they know everything, and they know every single stat, they know football deeply. Is it just that Cowboys fans have such a massive fan base that when you interact with Cowboys fans, especially like on YouTube and stuff and comments, that there's just so many more fans that just don't understand football? This is an honest, genuine question. I'm never trying to troll. People think that I'm a Cowboys hater or that I'm this, that, and I'm really not. I'm really, really not. I defended Dak Prescott. Even in this one clip, I defended CeeDee Lamb. I could have said, CeeDee Lamb, he's not that good of a wide receiver. He fumbled the ball. You can't do it. No, I defended him. Right? I literally just defended him. So I'm not a hater. I even defended Ezekiel Elliott. But I'm just curious, like, what is it? Because it's fascinating to me. I see it with the Kansas City Chiefs fans too. And that makes sense too, because they're the most popular team right now as well. And so you get a lot of new fans who really don't know anything about anything. But Cowboys fans have been around since the beginning of time. It's the Dallas Cowboys. So please tell me what's going on. Because I'm genuinely trying to learn. I really, really am. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? What do you think the biggest reason are for the Cowboys' recent struggles? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.